Alright. I am for this thing from professional. Okay. I should make an in-between screen instead of just going straight into it, but that's fine. Alright, ladies and gents, and everything in between and an additional. I want to welcome you. We're doing a little recap stream from the first 2 weeks here for XPDLA Season 7. We're going to be covering the 3 main leagues, or divisions I should say. We're going to start with Freeze, go into Bolt, and then go into Flare. We've done this, Mr. McGee and myself, we used to do this over in the Puckle Draft League with a few other contributors, and we had a lot of fun over there. We only have hot takes. They're never going to be good, so if you're here for really insightful stuff, I'm really sorry. This probably isn't the stream for you. But we are going to have we are going to have fun along the way. My name's Dr. Geo. With me, as always, is... What's
P
your name?
McGee.
Oh, there it is. P McGee. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're on a slight delay between each other.
Oh, that's all right. I hope. Yeah, the hottest of takes and the hottest of clubs. Yeah, we know both. So I just want to point out, like, there's, for people coming in that don't know what's going on, this is a Pokemon Draft League. You all know what that is, but in this league we have 3 different divisions. Freeze is for like the newest of players, kind of getting their footing along the way. Bolt's kind of for like the intermediate, and then Flare is, you know, they're the top dogs, I guess, if you will, right?
I would say Flare is known commodities more so than necessarily the absolute best. I think there's a lot of overlap with Bolt as well, where Bolt's like, maybe we don't know what you do yet, but you could do very well in Flare for all we know. But we'll stick you in Bolt for a season.
No,
like you.
Yeah, that's fair. That's what I would do if I ran a league too, and I just had a totally unknown quantity, and you get a couple of replays that are showing quote unquote skill, and you're like, but who are they even playing? Like, are they any good? I don't know. So looking at it here, I do have to say Freeze is probably the best league because they actually get their matches done on time. There's no extensions. Like,
Yes.
Bolt, even last week, like, I had an extension. The admins had an extension. Like, at least we know going in there's extensions. Oh, thank you, Iris, for the follow. That's pretty cool. Appreciate that.
Welcome.
All right, so I will, and you too, Argonaut. Appreciate it. I can't do the other 2 leagues because, for one, I may be the worst VGC player on the planet, and I don't understand Ubers. So I don't want to, like...
I understand it, but I haven't followed.
Yeah. All right, Iris, if you go undefeated next week, I'll do something a little special for you. How's that? Like, if you remain undefeated. All right, so...
It's a 3-0.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and open this on this page so I don't mess things up. The docs are a little different than what I'm used to for Piddle, so I'm just kind of learning as I go. We will continually improve the stream, but I think it's time we start getting into content here. We're gonna kind of just briefly brush over some of our favorite matches for the week and everything. Right now,
Yes.
we have the Miami Mimikyus and the Groveland Galicipods on top. That's Adrian was taken and Prince. There's a few other that are still 1-1. I know Hoiku took over a team, but I think that team was 0-2. Is that correct?
It's 0-1.
0-1.
It's 0-1. They still have to play the week 2 match.
Right. That match is one that got
their
delayed.
things all messed up. Yeah, so it's either tonight or maybe tomorrow. 1 or 2. And then I think the Indian Burnapes and the Vegas Victinis still need to play. I might be wrong on the other team. They need to play.
Yeah. I think you're right with that. So we've seen some good stuff. I'll be honest with you. I like knowing this is the lowest tier division. we've had some super hype things. Like we had I'll show the MVP list in a second, but we had a match where Eldegoss got 3 kills and finished the sweep.
Yep. Week 1. That was incredibly impressive. I have spent not here obviously, but I spent a long time trashing Eldegoss as a garbage Pokemon that's useless in draft. So to see it take off and pick up some kills in a match, more than or half of them, is very impressive. Even if it never shows up the rest of the season, that's a successful draft for Eldegoss.
Right. I think so. A few of the things that I've seen so far in Freeze that I really like. So we won't get into specific matches just yet. But I really like Prince's team, Groveland and Galicipods. I think they're using the Mega Lopunny very well. So I think there's a very good reason why they're 2-0. Miami Mimikyus too. They've got the Mega Gallade team, so they're looking pretty dope as well.
They've got some great speed tiers. I mean, they've got the Mega Lopunny, not the Mega Lopunny, the Mega Gallade, which is that nice 110. That's just a great breaker, great pivoter, and speed tier with the Raikou. Superior's hanging out up there too. And then you got some great walls with like the Gliscor, IG Slash, Incineroar, like Backbone.
Yeah.
It's a hard team to push through. And the Vaporeon for wish support. So that Vaporeon just sits there, absorbs attack, pivots back into the Mega Gallade. It's scary.
It's great. It's, one of the 3. Well, actually, so many of the EV evolutions are just really good at, being that good wall. Like, I don't want to trash it. Even Leafeon has, its good niche uses.
Well, all of them are more viable here because they can all technically pivot with baton passing. So they can wish baton pass in this league, which gives things like Umbreon more mobility, things like Sylveon more mobility to cushion an attack, and then baton pass straight out or wish and protect or whatever they want to do. So they're all much more effective here.
So it all feels pretty good. I'm not going to dwell too much on the standings page right now. We're 2 weeks in. Everything is wide open. We'll probably spend a little more time on this page once we get into an actual playoff picture. So I'm going to just jump immediately into...
week 4-ish, we'll start to kind of see where people are.
Yeah. I'm going to jump into the MVP list because there's actually quite a few chilling here at the top. Like, I love to see such a tight race. I know not all of these mons have had 3, but like some of these will continue fighting it out for MVP. Like Mega Lopunny, Pult, Zygarde, Gallade, they're all going to keep getting kills, right? Some of these other things like Delmise, Idlegoss, maybe not so much. Those are going to be a little tougher to stay on top of the board.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the way, so like Prince with his Groveland Gliscopod, the way he's using his Mega Lopunny now is just like a really reliable cleaner. Yeah. I mean, it's been his cleaner both weeks so far. He's squeezed by with some 1-0 wins in consecutive weeks entirely because the Mega Lopunny's been very effective. So it'll be interesting to see how people try to check that because that's obviously his primary win condition and he's using it as such going forward. It's
a really...
Zygarde...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, the mon that really, I think, could take off in this league just because it's really, you have to be really careful about it or it just takes off is Zygarde. If it gets behind the sub and starts coiling or Dragon Dances, it's just got that bulk, that incredible, signature move in Thousand Arrows, where if it goes unchecked for a turn or two, it can easily be game over. So Zygarde would not surprise me to see climb higher on the list just because it's harder to KO than Mega Lopunny is per se.
Yeah, and it has such easy setup. Like sometimes you get into a match where like 1D dance is all you need and like you just like, all right, straight to the moon, we ain't stopping.
Yep.
So Raikou and Gallade, they may, kind of fight for each other. I agree.
The dual fighting between them is probably going to get them knocked off.
Yeah, Zygarde is a mon that I think is a noob killer. I agree. Zygarde, more so even than things like Volcarona, I think is in that same boat. I think Volcarona is a pretty big noob killer. But then
Yep.
other things
I
down
mean, because
here,
there are things that outright.
like
I was gonna say, I think there's things that outright wall Megalopony. So like things like Slowbro, things like Skarmory can outright wall Megalopony, so it can get shut down some weeks. Zygarde has more tools to play around with to get around them. So
yeah,
Zygarde has an easier time
you
pushing
get,
past stuff.
Subclair sets are so annoying. Ugh.
Subtoxic, that's where it's at.
Yeah, those
It's my
two.
favorite set.
Those two. All right. So we got a match that we're gonna go over for freeze. Let me switch it over. And this is between Scald Manaphy of. Do you remember which team this is? This is the Pult team. So
Yeah, I'm getting
gotta
it
double
up.
check. As I learn teams, it will go easier. Oh, this is the Belleville Bellsprouts. This is Sableye's team.
That's right.
And this is with Prince's team as well, so we're gonna go ahead and get into it. We have Sableye here. They brought the Dragapult, the Corviknight, Blissey, Weavile, Medicham, which I believe is Mega, right? Yeah, it's Mega Medicham.
Yes, it's the Mega Medicham.
And we have the Swampert.
Yep. And then over on Prince's side, we've got the Electros. Always a fun mon to see in draft. I really am fond of that. The Megalopony, the Ferrothorn, the Araquanid, which is obviously going to be a web setter, the Latias, and the Clefable.
This is actually like a really dope matchup. I'll say this. I'm used to kind of matches where, or leagues, I guess, where a lot more people get in, like 16 to 20. And that's the case. You start getting teams that are not as rounded out. Because I look at both of these lineups here, and like this is pretty legit. Like all 6 of these mods you'd find on the ladder. Well, if they were allowed on the
team
ladder.
with the Dragapult, like, is a straight up like standard team,
except for the Medicham.
I mean, that's everything besides the Medicham you could see like an OU team build like that. That's like a standard OU looking team, with the obviously the Mega Medicham being not something that exists. But maybe if we were to play Natdex OU, you might see a team that looks exactly like this.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see that you're able to draft and assemble that.
We'll get in. We see the Dragapult versus the Ferrothorn. Obvious Fire Blast is obvious, so that was a good switch into the Clefable.
Yep.
And these are 2 mons here that'll just stare each other down for the end of the earth. Blissey and Clef.
Neither win. It's the slow battle there. Prince doing a really good work early to get hazards up. It kind of forces the Corviknight in. And something you need to take advantage of with the Electros.
Yeah, and when you force the defog, you get a free turn to do what you need to do. In this case, he's going to get some chip on the Blissey, which, depending on how you want to handle that. The Drain Punch, there we go. That's the real thing. That'll force it out.
Drain Punch is great. Yeah.
The Medicham has absolutely scary.
Nothing to pressure this Electros with.
Yeah.
There's no switching, except, and I want to give him credit here, this is actually a really great Latias set he brings to address this Medicham. Medicham just doesn't, I mean, it should be running Ice Punch. I don't know why it's not running Ice Punch, but it should have that for this Latias, but it just shuts it down. I mean, it's got Rocky Helmet, it's got Recover, it's got a really bulky set to just shut it and stop it from being any sort of offensive threat. So really good on Prince to have a clever way of addressing him on that's really, really hard to switch into.
The Giga Drain. Oh, that hurts. That mon has.
That's what I love about Electros. I know. Fire, water, grass, electric. We saw the Drain Punch. Like, it can hit whatever you need it to hit.
It has no arms. How's it punching? It must. I think it's probably more like Drain Suck. But we're gonna get Webs back up here. So it's just been a little.
Which again is a nice thing. It forces him to defog. So it takes away his rocks, and Swampert's already gone and off the field. So now him clearing his own rocks means you don't have to contest those rocks anymore for the rest of this game.
Yeah.
Really good hazard control by forcing defogs.
And let's see what we got.
I do think he can play some stronger predict game. Yeah. I think he should be a little more aggressive with his predict play on the Electros. Obviously, the Electros is going to force Blissey out, so you need to start making some calls on what's going to come in. But it's still really strong play with it all around.
Oh, this Rocky Helm feels so good without Ice
I
Punch.
know.
This is getting a little scary for the Metacham here.
Yeah, it just has no
the
way to push
Electros
through
comes back out. Oh, I'm actually even gonna put this on fast. So we gotta speed this up here, because until Clef or Blissey goes down, this match is gonna be slow. But the low punny has entered the field. Is it gonna It's gonna fake out. Okay, is it gonna U-turn, or Corv is not in the kill range? I think it's probably like 50 to 60 where you want it to be for the
and
fighting move.
Corv's not Rocky Helmet too, which surprises me. I think that was the kind of item it really needs in a matchup like that against Megalopony.
Yeah,
Just
you
helps
really need to
keep Megalopony in check.
You really need to punish these megas like this.
Because if you don't let them attack, and Megalopony and Mega Metachan both struggle to heal, if they can't attack safely, then they have a hard time doing anything because they don't want to click attacks just to eat Rocky Helmet damage.
Yeah.
Electros continues to be a real fiend to this match. Yeah, shuts down Corviknight, outright KOs Swampert.
Yeah, he had a chance to Drain Punch here. These lefties are doing just so much work, though. We're gonna get rocks back up. Oh, aromatherapy. Okay, that's good. Get rid of the paralysis.
Fair.
Yeah, rocks, here they are. Prince is just keeping pressure up. Every single turn feels good.
Yep.
Yeah, and then here's Seed, more chip on the Pult.
Because he doesn't have wish support to get things like Pult and Metacham with their health back. So all this is a slow win condition, but like it's very effective because if you can't prevent damage from being taken, they just start to fall apart.
Yeah, the only thing that can heal up is the Blissey and the Corv. Everything else. All right, he just goes for the.
And he brings unaware Clef.
That was a good way to go for the close combat here, knowing the burn. Yeah, and then nothing really can switch into it. I mean, you can switch in. You could switch in the Pulp, but that's a little scary. Yeah, and the team's just kind of falling apart here. Losing the Swampert real early like that's just hurts real bad.
Yeah.
I forgot about Scrappy. You can't switch anything into the close combat. Like that's gonna hurt the Pult a lot. It would probably kill the Pult.
Oh, probably.
At 69%.
At the health percentage of that. Yeah. I mean, he's just controlling this game really well with hazards and status and just creating momentum for him to work with.
Mm-hmm. It's just a very slow match. But, you know, the slow punny just can still do whatever it wants.
Yeah, there's no
stopping it at this point. Like, it gets...
And then he does a really good job with his win condition. And this is something I really want to point out as, like, Breeze being the introductory division, is that he understands how his Megalopony wins this game against the Dragapult. Even if it's going to cost him differential, it's the most effective and safe way to win this game, which is faking out, doing chip, and then immediately switching out to something else to let it take all the damage and die, so that Megalopony can come back again and click fake out again. So just a really clean win.
Yeah, it can be real easy to throw matches like this, just because you get impatient.
Yeah, he played a great windmill game, and then he closed it out the way he needed to. So the 1-0 is misleading. He was in full control of that end game. He just played to his safest and cleanest win condition, which was just fake out, sack something, fake out, sack something, and it worked.
Oh, Casserole, thanks for the follow. It's like 6 minutes late, but I do appreciate it. So GG's. that was a great match. Pretty good stuff from Sableye as well. It was just some of these mid-gen mons, like the coverage they have is just absolute insanity. Oh, thanks, Sable. Very, very cool. And Shark. Oh, we got Shark here now. He followed. Very great. So
Welcome.
we're gonna go into, I think, what everyone is actually here for. They don't want to hear us talk. They want to see. They want to see tears. So right now we have the normal S, A, B, C, D. We don't need D, so I'm gonna get rid of that.
No.
It's
too early in the season for a D tier.
Okay, so right off the bat, there's a couple of teams in Freeze that I kind of really like. This is going to be weird because people in this league don't know him. I'm throwing Hoiku up here, the Alberta Surge team, because this guy is literally a ringer. He came into our league as a relatively unknown guy and just kind of won our version of Freeze. So what are you gonna do?
He beat both of us last season when he played.
Yeah. So
he's not someone to be underestimated.
I think
we'll see what he does. We'll see what hole he's in though, because he's starting 0-1. He still has to play week 2 with the original team, which he drastically changed. Yeah. And so he could be in a bad 0-2 hole that he has to dig himself out of, and that might be too much. We'll see what he does, but he's got a new Rillaboom Halucha core to play with. That's just scary, sweet potential.
Yeah. The other factor is I don't think he's ever played in a NetDex league, and he's never not drafted his own team, so that may also
Nope, that's
influence.
Not true. No.
Oh, right, because I just said he came into our league, so whatever.
He did it with a lot less freedom to change his team around. He made it work, so he got to really redesign his team. So I'm really curious to see how that pans out for him.
Yeah. So the other team I really like up here as well is Prince's team, the Groveland Glissopods. I really liked how he played. I mean, there's still some issues.
He knows how to play around his best piece.
Yeah. It got dark real
he knows
fast.
how to use his Megalopony really effectively.
Give me 1 minute. I gotta turn the light on. It got dark real fast. Alright, there we go. That's better.
Perfect. I think there was one other team I really liked. I'm trying to find it.
Vegas Victini's the Mega Deontay team.
Yep, that's
really
the team.
Dope. I think these 3 are my front runners.
The only.
There it is. This is King Kamoo's team.
I mean, it's got everything you'd want. I mean, it's got a Tornadus, Mega Deontay, Hydreigon core. It's got a Victini to scream damage. It's got a great defensive piece in the Melodic
and the Licky.
It has 3 Mons that are NFE that might run Eviolites, and the Haunter, the Piloswine, and the Licky, but it also has the Cobalion, so that knockoff spam isn't super easy, and the Mega Diancie to just eat those knockoffs, or the Hydreigon. So even though the team
with a Rotom
doesn't want to be eating knockoffs, it's a really scary team. I think he could go very, very far with it.
Yeah, I think it's probably my favorite drafted team. There's some other really
and he knows
good
how to
ones.
use his pieces.
Yeah, there's some other really good ones where this is probably a good time we can bring up Chicago Cubones. They have the maybe sickest.
I love that core.
I was gonna say they have the sickest fantasy core with the Heatran, Garchomp, and Lele. Whew, that is some firepower.
I just
and
love
defensive
the Lele
pieces.
Mega Beedrill core.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is the Mega Beedrill team. Oh man, I want to see them use it.
Yeah. So I love this team. They did suffer a loss this week, I think, so they're 1-1. But I just love the offensive power of this team because the pieces that check Mega Beedrill don't check Megalopony, and then if either of them need a retreat, both of them are really well serviced by the Mandibuzz as like a defensive switch-in to counter whatever they're trying to deal with. So whether that's Psychic spam or Ghost spam or Dark spam or Ground spam, Mandibuzz is there as like the perfect piece to come in. The semi-pour doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know what it's doing on this team, but other than that, I don't really have any complaints.
It could just be I have to get to 9 months, or I have 3 points to spare.
It's a 2-pointer.
Let's go, whatever. I technically need a water type. This isn't it, but I technically need one.
But they have Slowbro, so they're not even needing the water.
Oh, right, the Slowbro too. I'm already being
so I don't know. There's some fun things I think in the 2-point range they can try to look at, like Trapinch or something like that, because the team pivots pretty well. So something like Trapinch could actually be useful.
Yeah. All right, I don't want to dwell too long. We just saw them play the Bellsprout Sableye. I also like them for A. Even though they lost that match, they played really well, I think. It was just, they got wore down by the insane coverage of Electros.
Yes.
And, like, the Weavile and Polt in the Metachamp, God. Like, this is the cool thing that I'm noticing here is in these Nat Dex leagues with, like, only 12 players, everyone has such great offensive pieces where good luck switching in ever.
I think my only qualm with their team, and it showed specifically this week, is that they struggle with hazards. Corviknight really has to be that defog option if they're not bringing Eldegoss. That's it. That's their only hazard control of those 2 pieces.
Yeah.
So when Corv is getting pressured a lot to come in and defog, that can be abused like it was this game. But otherwise, the team's sick. I really like the team.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Just going down the list here, the Indian Infernapes. This is the team that has, I think, Mega Charizard Y and Zygarde.
Yep.
With the
then
go ahead.
There's a Gigalith inexplicably on this team that needs to go. I don't know what role this Gigalith is serving. You don't really want that sand. So
no, it's a little anti-synergistic with the Zard Y. Like, worst case, it just takes away your own weather. The Acelgor is pretty cool. I love having an Acelgor on my team because it always forces the what if they just Final Gambit turn 1? How do I handle this?
Yep, it forces that consideration every time. It makes it difficult to scarf things to get around because now you have to go like full investment on speed to get past the Acelgor if you try to do that. So it has some fun utility. I think the team needs a Sun Abuser, like a low-tier Sun Abuser, just to have that to work with the Zard, but otherwise I'm really content with this team.
I mean, if you really squint, the Decidueye kind of does. It has growth. Doesn't have the speed boost, though, unfortunately.
Yeah. I guess you could do some Solar Blade shenanigans. I haven't really seen much Solar Blade.
It's just tough. He doesn't have the speed tier to really be a Sun Abuser, though. Like, Zard at least has 100 speed.
No. Yeah, exactly. I like the Empoleon, too, on this team, just because it's not overly bothered by the sun. It's not overly reliant on running water moves, so it's just something that functions well in the sun without being hindered by it too much.
Yeah, agreed. So let's see. I'm gonna we'll throw him up in A for now, and I may rearrange. Let's take a look at the Los Angeles Darmanitans. This is... Wait, was this the team that... No, this is Adrius's team. This has the Mew, the Zapdos, the Infernape, and the Mega Aggron. This is...
I like the top pieces. I like this team actually a fair bit.
Yeah. I would say the biggest thing with this team is just some speed tier problems. Like, you have Infernape.
Yeah.
And Zappy's not running.
Speeds.
Yeah, Zappy's not running speed too often, and I feel like it forces Mew into offensive pressure a lot of time instead of leaving Mew open. And it's hard to do. Mew drafts are hard, you know.
Yeah, I think the issue here too, looking at this team, and I think that will be a problem, is that there's not a lot of pieces that want to run a choice scarf. Tangrowth doesn't want one. IceQ doesn't want one. Drud doesn't want one. Tentacruel doesn't want one. So to get around rough speed tiers, you don't really have a lot of pieces that you want to give that item. So that might be something to be an issue to stop sweepers or have some kind of revenge killer to work with late season.
Yeah. So it just needs a little work. I'm gonna throw them in the B tier. I haven't seen a logo for him yet. So once I do, I can update it. But we just got the lad in there for now. All right, next we have the Magnezone team. This is the Sticks and Stones Magnezones. Sticks and Stones. This is the Melmetal Lando T team with Mega Sableye, D-Knight, Suicune. You're not getting hazards against this team.
No,
it's very hard. It's very slow.
But this team is also struggling. It's really slow, and it's also not putting hazards up that well. It's just on Lando to put up the rocks, and that's all they've got to work with.
This team's gonna struggle to really put up offensive pressure. Like, you have things that hit hard, but they're always gonna take damage first, which is okay sometimes. You just need to kind of stagger some speed tiers here, like, you know, something like a Noivern, if it's still in the pool or not, could help out. But yeah,
Suicune also, I think, needs to go on this team because Suicune is just entirely outclassed by Tapu Fini.
Yeah, it's a worse Fini.
So it's not really adding a lot to this team.
Not worse, but they just overlap too much. Like, that's like 13, 12 points or something you can spend elsewhere.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put them down in C right now, just because they some draft stuff. All right, next the Miami Mimikyus. This
that's an A-tier team, or that's an S-tier team. I think they're 2-0 strongly.
Well, we'll move stuff around as we need to. Yeah, this is a pretty strong team too, because this is the one that has the Mega Gallade and Gliscor, Aegislash. This and the Serp. Yeah, I like this team.
They're looking great speed tiers.
Granbull's maybe the weakest piece, but like I don't know, it's a physically defensive fairy type with Intimidate, so Intimidate's just he has 2 Intimidate users, so he's gonna really dissuade physical attackers from coming. And well, you know who likes special attackers? Gudra just doesn't care. And the Vaporeon. So like these are nice pieces.
There's a lot to work with here. Yeah.
All right. Next we have the Shed Ninja Lives, coached by Luna Lena. She is 0-2 right now. But there are some like great pieces on this team. I think the issue is it's been like you have the mascot pick, which is not a big deal, but you also have Jigglypuff that's come twice.
It's come twice, once over the Kyurem, so it's getting a little close to Mimi, even though they have pieces to succeed with. So I think she's just leaving behind something she shouldn't be leaving behind, because neither Nidoking nor Kyurem came in week 2, and then Jigglypuff didn't do anything particularly useful that made it worthwhile to show up. So there's also a lot of typing redundancy. I mean, we see double fairy, triple ghost, double flying, maybe triple flying. I might be mixing something. There's just a lot of typing overlap. What is it? Fire, fairy, flying, and ice and ghost all repeat. So I think there's just a little too much typing overlap, and some typing pieces aren't there that should be there.
Yeah. It's got good pieces, but you can exchange
it's got good pieces.
The bottom half and just improve all around. I think what team wants is just some pivot control, because if they can pivot into their Nidoking, their Azumarill, and their Celesteela and Kyurem better, then they're just better off. Because right now you're relying on Zygarde and Moltres to U-turn into them. Both quad
so you can't get enough openings.
Yeah. It's a little rough. So I'm gonna put them in C tier for now. Next we have the Toronto Machamps by I'm not sure how he wants his name pronounced. Kerbreb. Okay, Kerbreb.
Kerbreb.
This is the Zeraora Darm team. This is like hyper offense on steroids. Like let's go, let's go, let's go. It has the Wigglytuff and the Skarm. Delmise is a pretty nice defensive piece too, but I like the Nihilego he has. Since Nihilego's got Meteor Beam, I love this mon so much more because it's one of the few mons you can prep to, or one of the few Ultra Beasts you can prep for the speed boost. So, you know, you use the Meteor Beam, you get the +1 in attack and the speed boost, and you're like, all right, let's go, game, it's mine.
We're also we're in a hidden power league too, so it has coverage protection options it may not have had otherwise. So it can get access to hidden power fire if it needs it to push past like some kind of steel type that might otherwise wall it out. So things like Ferrothorn aren't like the safe answers like they would be in other leagues. So I really think Nihilego is really set up to succeed, and he's playing this team like hyper offense, which is important. It's not going to work every week, but he's definitely trying. I saw Bandit Darmanitan in week 1. That's the kind of thing you need to make this team work.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get away with it speed tier wise, like in your matchup, then you're golden. But okay, so
yeah, this team kind of wants webs.
Yeah, or just conversely spam out the T-Wave Zeraora.
I wonder if there's room for a Shuckle on that team. Sorry. Yeah.
Maybe that could work. We'll rearrange here.
It's like a suicide lead. Yeah.
Because I'm gonna put him in B tier for now.
I think that's fine.
Last, certainly not least, we have our other Toronto team. This has another Horse Panda combo, which
Great
I'm a fan
combo.
of. So that's pretty cool. Some of these other pieces, though, leave a little bit to be desired. But like, it's still good. So, like the Jirachi, the Lantern are all good pivot options. The Dragalge's good pivot options. Both Horse and Ursh, they love pivots. You know, just get in, get a few good attacks.
So the flaws I see in this team is that it's basically reliant on Togekiss to defog. Yes, Serena can spin, but Serena's just not the most reliable piece week after week to do that because it doesn't heal that easily. I mean, I think it has synthesis access, but defensive grass is just hard to run. And so this team is having a tough time navigating Hazard Stack. And I don't think the Ditto is that necessary on this team. I don't think the team needs that versatility from the Ditto, and the Armaldo is just a wasted slot. I do think that's two pieces you can trade in for a better overall piece.
Yeah.
If they were to make some adjustments. Because I like the pivot on this team. The team pivots really well, which is what Horse and Urshifu want to be really oppressive.
Yeah. I'm going to put them in B tier for now, and just because he hasn't proven himself in the league, I'm going to drop Hoiku down to A. I think you need to watch out for this guy, though. That would be where I kind of leave off on that. Do you have any way you'd like to change this or any input?
No. I think that's where it stands for right now. We're only in week 2. Not everyone's even played their week 2 match, so some of these are just hot takes week 1.
It's more draft view than anything else.
Yeah, more than anything, we're just looking at the team comps and seeing what is going to cause problems and what people are highlighting their teams well thus far, and that's kind of what these assessments are.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to move into Bolt now.
Yep.
You can't read it because the colors, sorry about that. Right now, Catsroll, their team's probably looking the best. We also have Argonaut, who's 1-1. They took a game today. There's not too much to see until the doc gets updated. We'll spend most of our time on the tiers. Same thing. I'll work with the background colors of mine so you can read this a little bit better for next week. Lunatone and Garchomp are chilling at the top with Clef. We had a Lunatone sweep in our league. It's pretty
really
top
impressive
heavy.
Lunatone play.
Yeah, it's a little top heavy right now. Because there's just been a few like 6-0 sweeps where Mon sets up and it's like, let's go. So they've looked pretty good like that.
Yeah, 2 Cosmic Power sweeps? I wonder if Jirachi was Cosmic Power 2 or not. I can't remember. but that's been the way.
Doc is updated. I just can't read. I'm a well-known illiterate though, so it's fine. All right, we're gonna take a look at a match here. I thought this match was really cool, played by our two admins. Let me switch. I almost need like 3 screens because I never prep well enough. All right.
Yeah,
so this is between Miles and Cass. Miles, they brought the I have to cheat, the Scolipede, the Breloom, the Megamanetric, the Agislash, Lunatone, and the Pheasant, which is apparently I think it's a meme. I don't know Miles too well, but I think the Pheasant is a meme for the league, or for them as a player. It has niche uses, but just judging by some of the things going on in chat, that's kind of what I was feeling.
The irony of it is, if the Unpheasant was on the other side in this match, it could have actually been really significant to stop what was the win condition, just with the Super Lock Scope Lens set that Unpheasant can run. But alas, it's on the team that's going to win.
Yeah.
But on the other team, we've got the Latios, the Clefable, the Crocodile, the Mega Venusaur, I believe, the Milotic, and the Conkeldurr.
What? Wrong match.
I'm in the wrong match?
This is Miles v. Casserole. Do you have the link? I may not have sent it to you.
Nope. I'm looking at the wrong match. Was this not the Lunatone sweep? Not watching that one?
No. That one's too long. Although...
Whoops-a-daisy.
The Lunatone match is worth a watch if you want to watch, like, good use of PP stalling. Like, it was super well played. Like, again, patience is key. So it is this match. You should have it now.
My apologies. We've got the Piloswine, the Gengar, the Hitmonlee, the Jirachi, the Tapu Koko, and the Vaporeon.
Alright, so let's get into it. We have a leadoff Lunatone versus Koko, which feels pretty good. Koko can't do all that much. I mean, it hurts, but you're not threatening to OHKO it.
No, not at all.
Screens up, okay.
So straight off the bat, going for an IG slash like sweep setup.
It's very bold. I don't
very
think
bold,
it gets
especially
through.
because because Vaporeon hasn't been addressed yet. It's one of those pieces you kind of have to whittle down before you go for a sweep.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just got nothing to work with.
And he's able to out-heal this. The Shadow Balls are only doing about 40%. So...
yeah, basically fishing for the Spadef drop.
Yeah, he just has to play it out or, switch, get it a little bit low. But eventually, like, here, now that you know you'll survive the next one, yep, you can go for the Scald, especially since he did the form change. There's the Spadef drop, but it's just a little late. But
it's kind of worthwhile taking that down. I mean, it's almost worth it because Agislash was the clear sweeper there, and so just to get that out of play early just opens up your game.
Yeah, I mean, you traded the Agislash for the Vaporeon, and I think if you have the Vaporeon and you see it's the setup Agislash, you probably feel pretty good about it, because that could have easily been a weakness policy Agislash too. But now Megamanetric takes a ton of damage. This is just...
chunky. I'm actually surprised they switched it out, because they don't have good hazard control. So, like, the Megamanetric's really not seeing the field. Yeah, it's on its last arrival on the field now because of rocks.
Yeah.
And so Megamanetric's gone now to play.
So now this the Scarf Jirachi, which we've just seen, gets the run train. The Scolipede here, with the speed boost, if it gets a Sword Stance up, things look a little scary. But I don't think one Sword Stance is enough to like OHKO everything, especially this Piloswine. He's a
Piloswine is just
fat boy.
To survive.
Yeah, he's a fat boy.
And he's doing a good job preserving the Piloswine, making sure it doesn't get chipped so that it always addresses the Scolipede. And he's just letting Jirachi get back in there. Heart Stamp, love it.
Yeah, you love to see it.
Basically just going for flinch hacks.
And he gets it. But the nickname's there. It says he's going to sweep.
Gallopy doesn't really have a way to get set up here too well.
No. If he had a way to live one more move, because I think if he got the ×3 attack, he could. I don't know. Earthquake isn't enough to kill, is it? No.
No, not even close. Not even close.
Megahorn? No. I'm not sure he has anything in his move pool to hit. Close combat? Does he get that?
No, and so that's why it was just it might, but that was just why it was really smart on cast to preserve the Piloswine so that it was able to stop Scolipede at any point in the game.
Yeah.
And then just good clean up with the Gengar to finish it out.
So that was
really strong performance.
Yeah, that was really nice. So GG's to both sides. You know, constant threats. It's just maybe pulling the trigger a little too early there on the Aegislash. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I think that's kind of where it happened.
But once
I think
once you're set up,
worked.
Once you're set up though, it's really tough. You don't want to switch like your Breloom into the Scald and risk the burn. That feels awful.
Not at all. Yeah, unless you were going to be running the Toxic Orb set and you already had it procced, then it's just kind of hard to deal with a Vaporeon, which that might have been a clever way to deal with Vaporeon straight up with the Toxic Orb set, but that's not what came.
No, but GG's. Alright, so we're going to go over to our tier list here. We're going to go through these a little bit faster because I realize it's already 9 o'clock and we've been streaming for almost an hour. So we're going to go left to right. We're going to start with the Arizona Selgors. This is coached by Tiger VGC. This is a team that has... oops, clicked off my prep page. This has the Megadianci, Victini, Skarmory, Rillaboom. Blastoise, like, this team's great. I love this team. It also has the Umbreon. It's got web support. It picked up a Charjabug.
Which is usable. I've seen Charjabug be run. It's not the easiest piece to use, but it's doable.
It's nice enough for a 1 point because you're always at least threatening webs in prep. I think that's pretty important.
Yes.
A lot of times too is that, you know, I showed it in week 1, not so much this week because it all fell apart for me, but you're at least, you know, can when you're threatening these things, they have to use move slots.
It forces counter prep.
Yeah, you only get 24 moves in a match, right?
Yep.
So let's see. The top's pretty synergistic too. The Raiku's pretty fast. What's its speed? Like 120 something? 115? I think
115.
It's 115, yeah.
So the speed tiers are there. You got 3 things over 100, 100, 110, 115. Like really great speed tiers. Maybe nothing super fast, but still really solid.
Yeah. They lost their first match and they haven't played their second one yet. So I want to see a little bit
they
more.
lost the Clefable sweep. Because the Clefable started, I believe this is the match where the Clefable just started doing Calm Minds, or Cosmic Powers, and just swept, if I recall correctly.
Yes, that was it. Everything fell apart real quick.
I've seen Tiger play in other leagues. He's always, he's a solid coach. He's had some really good seasons in other leagues. I think it was just something he didn't fully account for in week 1, and so he got punished hard for it. But it's not the kind of loss where you're like, well, this coach doesn't know what they're doing. It was just, I did not account for this specific set, and this specific set demolished me.
That happens in every league eventually where, you know, it's a Cosmic Power sweep or some, you know, just turn 1, like, oh, oops. Okay. That's that. Alright, so next up we have the Bakersfield Beartics. This one is coached by Miles. This was the team we just saw. Some of the pieces you didn't see in that match are like the Magmortar, the Wheezing Galar form, the Manaphy, the Hydreigon. So there's a lot of variety on this team. This team's really scary to me. Even though they lost that match, they were able to win this week's match. And I don't know, man, this team's pretty scary. I like them up towards the top. I'm not sure if S or A. I'll probably put them in S for now. My team, the Columbus Gallade. I also went for Panda Horse combo, but I've got a few different things kind of anchoring that down. I have the Zapdos Mega Aggron dual cores that go with it. Things like Entei, Aromatisse, Slowking, Rose, decent hazard setup, removal options, Flygon. It's a bit untested in this format, but the team feels real strong. I won my first match easily enough, and I lost this week because I couldn't hit a non-100% move to save my life. The Smeargle's come twice. I'm going to put me in A for now, just because it's a little unproven.
That's fine.
If I'm relying on these, like,
I think if you play
moves,
I think you win 80% of the time you play that match. This was just the 20% of the time you lose that.
All I needed is one of those moves to hit that missed. Instead, all of them missed. But whatever.
Yeah, because there's one time Moltres dies to the Stone Edge, one time Weavile dies to the Heavy Slam, one time Scizor dies onto the Stone Edge, one time Muck dies to the Sacred Fire. All of those didn't pan out because they all either missed or you got paralyzed on that turn.
Yeah, so it was
really unfortunate match, but I think you'll bounce back fine.
Yeah. I'm not too worried. We'll see. Next up, we have the Hope's Peak Deoxys. Let me find them on my prep page. All right, yeah, this is coached by Joshua, who I think is well enough known. I think he's moved up from Freeze this season. Not 100% sure. If someone in chat knows, that'd be cool if you can tell me. But Josh has like a really dope core between Mega Venusaur, Clefable, and Latios. I think that's a fantastic, like, and then Registeel to kind of round it out in Melodic. It's a little top heavy of a team. I think.
Yeah, his team also doesn't break easily at all. Like, I mean, it's hard to push through Clefable, Mega Venusaur, and then you have a Registeel and Melodic on there as well, and so it's just not something that's going to be busted open too easily.
They got the easy sweep with the Clef. So I would like to see how things go for them this week.
I believe they got wasn't this the team that got counterslept? Yeah, this is the team that just lost to the Lunatone Cosmic Power set this week. So they got reverse swept by the Cosmic Power set.
Yeah. I'd like to see a real match, quote unquote.
Yes.
But both were real matches, but I'd like to see a not 6-0 sweep. I'll put them in up here with me for now, in the A tier.
Yeah. I mean, you can't fault someone too much for not over accounting for a Lunatone. That's the kind of thing you don't really spend a lot of time considering, and then it gets the exact situation it needs to set up and win. So it's an unfortunate loss, but not one that reflects too much on the coach.
Yeah. Next we have the Hungry Sharpedos, coached by North. I believe North. Yeah, this is the Garchomp team. It has the Mega Lopunny, Garchomp, Melmetal, Comfey, Chandelure, Thundurus. It's a tough team to switch into. I was able to beat it. I took advantage of, the weak hazard removal options and,
Yep.
Smeargle was able to shine. So Joshua won Freeze last season, is what Iris is saying. So, okay.
Okay. That makes sense.
He drafted a great team. This team looks really cool. Hungry Sharpedos, they lost week 1, but then they won this week thanks to a Scarf Chomp. Like, Scarf Adamant, so it was chunking. Felt real good. Everyone's going to end up in A tier, and then I'm going to remove things around. That's probably what's going to happen. Okay, let's see. Up next, this is, I believe, Duck's team. The Indiana Weather Hazards. Yeah, Dr. Strange, McDuck. I'm going to read off these first two mons together, and they just feel like almost like a perfect pairing for me. Mega Gallade and Corviknight. Oof.
Yeah.
You got other things like Arcanine, Feeny, Blissey, Nidoking. Oh my! I don't even have to name the rest of them, but Druddigon.
So that's
Next best
They
mono
have
team.
so much slow pivot, which is the best thing for Mega Gallade and Nidoking is slow pivot to get them on the field safely so that they can just exert a lot of pressure. Because it's really hard to switch in on Nidoking or Mega Gallade. So when Corviknight can slow U-turn or Arcanine or Blissey can slow teleport, then you're just getting your best breakers free momentum to work with. And so I think that's just really hard to fuck around.
They haven't played their other match, but I don't know, man. I'm like really scared of this team. I think they one of the
I would be.
better teams. I got one other team I'm probably going to throw up here, but we'll get to them. Next we have the Perona Peloswine, who I don't have a logo for, so sarcasm. If you have a logo and you want to post up in team info, I'll update the tier list. This is another scary team. Like this is the like I keep harping on this, but this is the cool thing.
The same core is in all 3 leagues, and we'll get to it. The Dracopult Mega Medicham core exists in all 3 leagues, which is fascinating. I didn't really think of those two pairing together, but all 3 teams that drafted one of them in a league drafted both of them.
I think, I'm going to throw them up in A tier because they're also 1-0. I think A tier is just going to be a little full because this league's missing like 3 matches right now for week 2, so it's really tough to say. I just wasn't able to find it, sarcasm, but I didn't look very hard either, so it's a little bit of both. So
I think Venomoth feels like a wasted slot on this team. I don't know what Venomoth does over, say, Vikavolt. Well, sure. But the team has so many good special sweepers already with Pult, Superior, Sylvalide, Duraludon can both be reliable special sweepers. Sylveon can be scary with a Calm Mind. So I don't know that Venomoth has a lot of openings outside of a team that's really weak to poison.
Yeah, so you could find some extra slots there. All right, next is our new team, the San Diego Charizards, coached by Blaze. They are a replacement coach. They're coming in for the coach that had the Tapu Lele, Darmanitan, Galar form, which was a little rough.
I did not like that original team.
No, this new team is much better.
It's better. I think I still had some problems with it, but it's definitely an overall improvement from the original team.
Yeah. The Mega Aerodactyl, Cinderace, your speed tiers are covered now. Primarina, Drapion's a pretty cool defensive duo. Lando, Celesteela, it feels fine enough. But I don't know.
My qualm was they don't switch into Icewell.
No.
My qualm was they don't switch into Icewell.
Like,
because you're counting on Rotom
Frost and Cinderace. Hariyama.
So there's just not a lot of momentum.
Yeah, I think B tier for now, just because I haven't seen them play a game.
Yeah.
Next, we have the Subtoxic Slowbros, which... Alright, there's 2 caveats with this team. One, I think out of all 3 leagues, it is the most top-heavy league, or top-heavy team. But I think it's justified. If I'm gonna read off the first 6 mons. Tornadus, Zeraora, Slowbro, Mega Mile, Kyurem, Tangrowth. This could be an OU team.
This team just pivots into breakers. Yeah, it just pivots straight into breakers. Breaker after breaker pivots in with Slowbro teleporting, Zeraora volt switching, Tornadus U-turning. That's just a lot of momentum to play with to get things like Hero or Mega Mawile onto the field for free.
Yeah, they lost their first week match, but like, I'll be honest with you.
The pieces are there.
Yeah, I'm going to still put them up in S, even. Like, these are my power rankings. Like, one loss is only going to make them angry. So this is coached by
I think
J-Caps. So
even in their low tier spending, they did pretty well. Skuntank's very usable in a draft format just because it has a lot of good moves. It has defog access. It's grounded poison, which is always nice to keep out.
So is Palossand.
And then Palossand is great. I think Palossand can be underrated. It can heal, which is a huge thing for a ground type to be able to do if you want to use it defensively. It can heal. It has rocks access. It has good coverage moves. It's just an overall solid mon. I think Pyro is garbage. I think Komala is garbage, but
Pyro is a
trap.
Other ones I think you see the speed tier, and you just go, and you're like, oh, I need something in there, but then you look at its other stats and its move pool, and you're just like, I could have done better.
Yeah, how does Pyro actually do anything when it hits the field is what it becomes.
Sarcasm's true. His Volt just shits on the Tricore.
This is true.
The 3 regen ones. Easy match. Sarcasm, too good. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I still think I just like them up in S tier. Okay.
I think they're a really good team.
Yeah, next we have the Sydney Scythers. This is coached by Thor. It's Mew, Mega Scizor, Dragonite, Terrakion, Nidoqueen. This is like a very bulky offensive team.
I love the build of this team for the most part. I don't love their defensive water play just because Lantern can't be the most reliable thing.
Nah,
but God, this team is hard to break.
Yeah, it has a lot of threats,
you can't take items
too.
away that easily.
No, like,
yeah,
Terrakion's almost the scariest of the dogs to like give that justified boost to, in my opinion.
So things like Mew don't lose their item. Even if Terrakion's not there, Mega Scizor is there to eat knockoffs, Florges is there to eat knockoffs. It's like this team isn't losing their items that much, which is just really, really scary.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of this team. I think Bolt did a pretty good job overall.
Oh, absolutely.
Where Thor's 1-1, probably chilling in the A tiers as well. Like I said,
think so. I think this.
Well, with a little more play, I'll be able to spread this out a little bit more. But we're gonna make a nice. We're gonna make a nice Gaussian here, sideways Gaussian.
Speed tier was the only real qualm with the team. It doesn't really get past 108. I think is what tracking. That's
but at least it's over 100. But you know, if yeah. So it's fine, you know, it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Next we have the Dastardly Gentleman by Cass. This was the Tapu Koko team. Koko, Rachi, Gengar, and Cineroar. While maybe not the strongest draft, this has been the most solidly played team I've seen so far.
Yeah.
Just plays to their outs extremely well. So I'm gonna throw them up. Same thing, Cass. If you have a logo, I'd love to have it so I can, update it. Oh, I got a message.
I think my only qualm with the team was that it doesn't love it. None of the pieces that can be hazard control like being hazard control that much, so it just limits some of their utility in games. But the team isn't too prone to rocks, which is nice, and it has a guarded poison, so it's not getting beat up by hazards. It's just not loving who has to carry the defog or the spin.
Yeah. Last, certainly not least, is Viden Victinis by Argonaut. This is our 9-mon team. Nothing super expensive, so the whole team, other than the Mega Audino, is between 14 or 15 points. So you've got Rapidator, Shifu, Gliscor, Weavile, Scizor, Rotom-Wash, Alola Muck. Some potent threats here, and I think the biggest difficulty I found with prepping, and this is because of the mid-tier stuff here, is that you don't really know what's gonna come. The only thing I knew for certain coming this week was Alola Muck, because I have Horse, so Alola Muck has to come.
Yep.
And Mega Audino, because I have, Panda, so it also has to come.
Yeah, Panda Horse.
So those two I knew were coming. The other four, you can make arguments to in and out. I maybe even over prepped for the Gliscor because it's hard to kill.
If you can't break Gliscor, you just lose games. I've lost games to Gliscor just not being able to be broken. I've won games because Gliscor couldn't be broken. So if you don't have at least 2 or 3 pieces that can break it reasonably well, you just lose games.
So I'm going to leave this at 3 levels for now. That's fine. Okay. I'm happy enough with this. There hasn't been much separation in the middle of the pack. There's a few teams up here on top that I really like. We discussed a few issues with these teams on the bottom. I'm sure it'll be fine, and we'll have a pretty tight playoff race in a couple weeks. All right, let's jump over to Flare.
Yeah.
We'll cover Flare real quick. It looks like most of the matches are in, save for one.
I believe. Let me get to the standings.
Yeah,
I don't think
too long
Eileen
on
has
this.
played yet.
Yeah, Eileen and Sid, they're the only match left for the week, which may be happening, maybe not. Oh, I
didn't see an extension, so I think it's happening.
All right, we got the 2 last logos for Bolt. Hooray!
Hooray.
All right. Right now, go to the team info for Bolt. Cass's logo. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's like pixel art. Oh, this is amazing. Oh, that's so good. Okay. So yeah, you guys can all see the standings here. Not too much to talk about. Looking at the MVP list here, Mr. Chomp
I mean,
Chomp.
the big thing is the top 2 teams play each other. So me and Here We Stand play each other. Or wait, no, Cameron Robb overtook me. Never mind. He got higher differential this week.
Yeah,
I played the other 2 in our team. Never mind.
Yeah.
Disregard.
Anywho, we can take a look over here. The kill leaders, Mr. Chomp's sitting on top. Cinderace with 4 kills. Mega Mile with 5.
There's
everything,
very little surprising things in the top like 10, except for Bronzong. I think Bronzong's like he doesn't belong there. He won't stay there, but he's done something for now.
Yeah, everything else can and will continue to pick up kills. Like I've seen Infernape in a NatDex league be, really high kills, like 26 in a 12-week league.
I can believe it. Yeah.
So let's see. All right, moving on. We're going to cover the match between Here We Stand and I'm sorry, as I still learn teams and names. Who does Highway coach? Which team is that?
What's the Mons?
This is the Embor. This is the horse team with Lando. Mithlo? Is this Mithlo? Yeah, Mithlo. She coaches the Silage. I hope I got that right. Silage City Chinchinos.
It's a Pokemon city, so I don't know.
Gosh, don't get me trying to pronounce those names. All right. so we got some cool matchups here. So from Here We Stand, we have the Victini, we have the Vikavolt, Porygon 1, or just Porygon, if you will, because there's a horse on the other team. Tornty and Klefki and Garchomp.
Yep. Hold on, I'm trying to find the match. I'm bad. Okay, I've got the match.
Zarude.
All right, we've got on the other team. We've got the you did the Victini team, right?
Yeah, I did the Victini team.
Okay, yeah, we've got the Landorus, Therian, we've got the Spectrier, so good old horse, Florges, Best Flower, Zarude, the Gloking, and then the Embor.
All right, let's get into it. I'm most excited for the Porygon. But all right, so we get a U-turn onto the Garchomp, and it's the defensive build. That is some big damage.
Rough turn 1 mistake. Garchomp immediately Toxics here because it's such a free click. Obviously, the Gloking isn't going to come in on it, so it's just a really safe predict on turn.
Like you're super okay with it if you want to predict that, but so we get webs up. Good aromatherapy from the Florges, but you got webs, Volt Switch. Klefki can start stacking them spikes. I'm wondering
just
if
putting
this
a lot
is
of pressure
Defog
on
Lando.
Oh wait, this was the. Oh yeah, this was some clever Klefki work.
This Lando does not have good ways of getting this Klefki out now.
Once you take away its ability to click Earthquake, it's useless.
This is Baby Magirna, but Embor can handle this one-on-one.
And then of course it's an Akaberry, but it still does massive damage. Just the Reckless boost with Flare Blitz does a lot of damage.
Yes.
So even though it's +3 defense, it's just not gonna have a way And then I think he loses out by like 1% here.
Yeah, I think
Emborg
it
gets the
could have been
roll.
almost a full sweep here otherwise. That's low enough.
I don't know if it
Plus
breaks
one.
Glow King.
Yeah, a plus
No, it doesn't
one.
break Glow King.
Because he doesn't have the stored power move. But
No,
still,
no.
It was a cute set. But Lando was able to do. I think both are probably okay. Maybe Mythlo's she's even happier with that trade.
Yeah, because you take away the Klefki, which is a real problem. Yeah, the Pika Bolt's
you can't see it in
obviously
chat, but Mythlo even says, sometimes I forget we allow hidden power. Yep, it's gonna happen. So we're getting rid of these rocks here.
Which is good. Landorus is out of play, which makes the rocks gone from the game as soon as you clear them. Worthwhile. The Torn isn't too bothered by the Toxic Stall because it's really just pivoting around a lot, so it's not going to eat that damage too much.
Slow King's
the create for Victini, super free. Slow King's doomed though.
Yeah, I can't survive a second one. So, yeah.
There's just the big thing here is with the Emborg gone, there's just no switch in to be created at this point. It just gets kills every time he gets. Every time he has a free opportunity to click that. Yeah.
Not much, Iris. Glad to have you back. That's the hardest thing about prepping against Victini teams is like you have to answer the V create, and if you can't answer it, you're in like big trouble, because like Victini's just gonna click it again here. What do? Something's gonna die.
There's no answer. Yep.
Yeah, like no even if the toxic hit, like then you're sacking something to get.
Kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So trade
Rock
back in.
misses for the 3% it would have done.
Yeah, and you just toxic.
So this floor just doesn't have an attacking move, which is the fascinating part. This floor just physically can't do damage. And it only can toxic stall.
I don't think I realized that in the match. Yeah, aromatherapy, toxic, wish protect. That makes more sense because I remembered watching this one live, but then like just wondering kind of what was happening here of like, what's with all these switching? But I didn't bother to check that all 4 moves had been used.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna speed it
so
up.
So Victini picks up another kill. No, that's fine. There's no moves left for the floor. Just it's automatically over. It's just I believe he stalls it out for a long time so that Porygon can get the kill with the toxic stall.
Oh.
Something like that. But he does drop Porygon after this week, so Porygon's no longer on the team.
Well, I mean, if you only have it for the one match, at least you had it.
Oh
for
no,
that match.
He straight PP stalls this. I don't know why, but he straight PP stalls this. We don't have to finish it out.
All right. Well, no, we might as well. But we're going hyper fast.
Go hyper fast. I mean,
actually, we're just gonna skip turns. We're gonna skip turns. Floor just still 100%. 77 turns. All right. You love to see it. I'm gonna skip this song. Chairman Rose. If I played Gen 8, I'd probably know who that was.
Yeah, he's the villain.
Oh, is he?
By Pokemon standards.
All right, we're gonna pop over to these tiers now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of D again because we just don't need it.
No, not this early.
Probably never at all. We'll see though. Okay, so taking a look at these tiers, let's just go in order here. We have the Baltimore Blastoise. Baltimore Blastoise is of course coached by Hero, and right now is 1-1. They had Deoxys Speed
just made
on
some
the
major
team.
changes.
And
yeah, and then they dropped it, which happens every season in XPDLA. The Deoxys Speed gets dropped after like week 3 or 4.
It's just lots of good ideas, but it seems super difficult to use. But I don't know.
They got Necrozma, who I think is better overall and easier to use.
Did they have to drop the Rotom Heat as well to make like points work here?
They dropped Rotom Heat and the Porygon Z, and they picked up the Volcanion, the Necrozma, and the Mimikyu. Overall, I think it's a pretty favorable exchange. I do think the pivoting from the Rotom was really beneficial. The team does lose momentum because they've lost both the Deoxys Speed and the Rotom, and so that's just momentum gone.
Yeah.
But I think Necrozma is overall just a more reliable mod to work with.
Absolutely, and it kind of fits the whole Mega Arrow a bit better too, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think that, so my qualm with this team, especially now, is that Mega Arrow has a really hard time getting on the field safely because the team just doesn't really have good pivoters.
No.
I think I'm looking at the team, and so if you can't pivot into Mega Aerodactyl, and people can put rocks up because Mega Aerodactyl. Yeah, and so it's just really hard for Mega Arrow to hit the field safely and have that momentum to work with to sweep, because Mega Arrow doesn't want to take hits. I mean, the rock flying is not a good defensive typing. It's hurting pretty much from any attack that comes its way.
Yeah,
So,
I like them in B tier. I think there's just some issues.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm curious what the new piloted team does.
I think it would be a lot scarier.
Yeah.
All right, next is
that's where I'm at.
Miflo's team, the Silage City Chinchinos. She has 1-0 right now. I think they're the other match we're waiting on. We just
yeah.
No, 1-1. We just watched them lose.
Yeah, that's right. I like this team. I think it has good pieces. I think it has a really strong pivot to get into horse, which is good. I think if you can't have Panda horse combo, I think G Zapdos with horse is also a very effective combo. It's essentially the same thing.
I was in our Galar draft that we did. My two biggest mons that I wanted with it were G-Zap and Terrakion, because you want fast, strong hitting fighting types. I mean, Panda's just better than all of them to kind of cover the weaknesses there. So like, because it's nearly busted in singles. It is busted in singles. Not so much in draft, but
it's easier to account for. But what I like about G Zapdos is that it can pivot, which creates windows for horse to get on the field and click Shadow Ball. And it can break the normal and darks that would otherwise check the horse, and so it's just in a really good spot to be effective week to week.
So I like it in A tier just because of some of the other teams that I know that are up in S tier are just slightly edge it out. All right, next we have the Chicago Cubones, which it's two teams from Chicago, Cubone based. The other one I think was Marowak though. I'm probably way wrong on that. But the Chicago part I remember. This is the Chicago Warhawks, coached by Smeargle. They're 1-1. This is the this is the Celesteela, Mega Glade, and
so we talked
50.
earlier. Yeah, we talked earlier about a team that was really well designed to not be bothered by knockoff. This is not that team.
No.
It really, really hates knockoff.
Like, what are you switching?
Because Zygarde wants to. Yeah, Zygarde wants to sub a lot of weeks, or wants to be have that option. So to take away its leftovers early is bad. Galarian Corsola doesn't want to get knocked off.
Bisharp wants its boosting item. Like that 20% from like dark glasses matters a lot if that's what you choose to run.
Yeah.
Torracat needs the item. Like.
Things just aren't liking the knockoff here. It just takes away, and it's just really free to spam and take away. Because even if things that can switch in, like Primarina, don't necessarily want to lose that item early game, because it likes to run Scarfs some weeks because that hits a really good speed tier with the Scarf, and so to lose that item early is not very beneficial. Or some of the bulkier things, losing their leftovers healing can be problematic because the team doesn't have wish support. So most of the mons that can't recover, damage taken is damage kept, and so it's just really spammable against them, which is my biggest qualm, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, so where would you like to see them?
I think they're a B tier team for right now.
Okay.
I would like to see some more wins. I try to remember how they won this week, or they won. They won this week. I think they just played their match. Oh yeah, they just played their match, and in part they won because a triple Axel and a Stone Edge missed in the match, and they won 1-0. So like it's good to get on the board with the win, but it's not.
I'm not sure I understand the conundrum here. Yikes. Okay, so it's not the most solid win, but a win's a win.
A win's a win. A win gets you on the board. Making playoffs is a whole new thing. So the goal, the quest to 5 is, at least in progress for them.
Yeah. All right. Next we have the Cobalion Cucks. This is Sid, the science kid. I feel ridiculous
the
even
name.
saying it out loud. I think it's Mr.
Yeah.
Clean on Cobalion. I think that's their logo.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I don't know how to feel about this team. I have qualms on a lot of the things on the bottom section. So Rampardos, Lilligant, Landorus Eye, Blaziken.
Those aren't it.
A lot of matches.
I liked Blaziken if you have Z moves because it gives you that extra oomph.
Yeah.
You can switch into knockoffs, but without the Z moves or the speed boost, it's got a crazy move pool. It's just not digging it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
No.
having said that, it has U-turn now, so like choice items are.
There's
a bit
momentum
stronger,
to be had, which is nice.
But I'm not wowed by this either. I don't. Like, I know it's huge.
The irony
offensive.
of this team. Well, the irony here is the team doesn't like electric that much being slapped by it because their electric resists aren't that defensive. And, you're not bringing Landorus Eye all that much, and it can just be blasted away by a hidden power ice. So you run into a weird spot where you set electric terrain, and then you're not liking the electric attacks being shot back at you.
Yeah, you're pretty
Corviknight hates them. Yeah. So it's an interesting conundrum they'll have to deal with.
Yeah, when you're
and they don't have a Mega. And so, yeah, no Mega makes them knockoff prone. So they don't want to be dealing with knockoffs either.
I think I'm C-tiering them. It's just real rough.
I think that's fine.
It's real rough and tough customer here. Alright, next we have this is the Colorado Mamoswine, coached by Dilly. She is 2-0 right now.
Yes.
This team, this is the Urshifu good one, single strike, right? Yeah, because it's with the Finny.
Yes, this is the good Urshifu.
Yeah, Finny and Kyurem, Zeraora. Ooh, yeah, I like this team a lot. This is pretty strong.
I'm really high on this team.
Bronzong Mega Venusaur. I'd never seen the combo before because I'm relatively new to like Nat and stuff, but like I've seen it a couple times now and it feels impossible to get through these two. Like you have to be real
and she
specialized.
regularly brings and she brings Mega Venusaur to a lot of leagues. So she's very experienced with piloting this mon as a defensive piece or an offensive piece. So it's just not something you want to be in good hands, and it's in good hands.
Yeah, so I'm gonna throw this in the A tier. That's pretty dope.
I think that's fair. I think the two qualms I had with the team was its defog support is not great. It's kind of reliant on things like Talonflame or Feeny, and Feeny doesn't want to be locked into defog very much. It loses its own terrain now, so it's not appreciating that defog. And then there's no cleric roll, so things that get burnt are staying burnt if you don't have the terrain working in your favor or toxic.
Or even healing back up.
That can be problematic.
Yeah,
there's no wish support either. So there's some concerns there, and then they have a couple of large speed gaps. You go from 98 to 126, and so that leaves a lot of mons in the 110 plus range able to run Adamant and Modest against you week to week, and so that can be problematic for your Venusaur and Bronzong to wall out when they can get that little bit extra.
Yeah, and even Urshifu.
But right now she's piloting really well.
Urshifu even wants to run Adamant more often than not. Like that extra 10% damage with the crit just adds up to be a ton. All right, so next we have the Dragonstone Dialgas. This is Here We Stand. This is a scary team.
I think it's the best team in the league.
I think so too. I was going to say, great hazard control.
He just changed out a bunch of things.
Did he?
He just changed out a bunch of things and fixed all the things I had qualms with. So he tossed out Klefki for Registeel, so better steel type.
Okay, good.
He tossed out something else, and he picked up
Porygon?
Umbreon, so now he has a proper cleric.
Does he still have the
Porygon? He has. He dropped Porygon, so Porygon's gone now. I'm looking at it right now. Hold on. Transactions. He dropped Vikavolt, him on top, Drapion, Klefki, Porygon. He picks up Regieleki, Mega Aggron. I'm wrong on the steal. He gets Mega Aggron, Umbreon as like a wish support and strong dark type, Togetic as like the fairy and kind of
okay. That's what I was waiting to hear is what fairy got. Okay, so it's busted. Cool. Glad we could have that.
Yeah.
S tier.
Yeah.
Easy.
So his team's even harder to break. Yeah. Oh, easy. I don't know how you break it now, to be honest. I don't know how you push through Umbreon. I mean, Umbreon, Mega Aggron have like the fighting spam, obviously, you smack them with to blast through, but there's resists on this team to fighting. I think he has the Tornadus too. So Tornadus comes and eats those fighting attacks just fine. Victini can come in on a pretty fighting attack and just spam you with V-Create. So I don't know how you beat this team right now. I'm going to be put to the test next week. I'm not optimistic.
Speaking of, it's your team.
Hey, it's my team.
All right. I think most people are going to agree with 9 out of 10 of the Mons are looking real good. You've created a little bit of controversy with Poikumuku, otherwise known as Larry.
Yeah. So this is the 7th time I've drafted him now in the league, so I'm very familiar with how to use him. I think he works really well, at least in my hands. I know what I'm doing with him. I know what he needs to do in matches. I know when not to bring him and what kind of problems I'm going to run into with Larry. And so I've gotten good utility out of him in pretty much every league I've run into. He's succeeding in my Ubers league right now. He's a menace in the Ubers league that I'm in.
That's because bulky waters with Unaware, I think, do even better in Ubers sometimes. That's just my pet theory.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And I don't lock myself into generic sets. I use Baton Pass a lot when I play with him, so he actually pivots, which is huge. So he can come in, absorb an attack, and then pivot out into something else. This was a really big reason I beat Queen Eileen in week 1, is that I shut down her Keldeo and prevented it from pivoting around safely because it was using Flip Turn, needing Rocky Helmet damage, or it was using Surf and doing no damage because it's a water type. So it was just in a really good spot to be effective in that week. I didn't bring it week 2. I have to look at my matchup against Fury Stand again. But I'm not scared to use the Pyukumuku. So it's not like I just needed a bulky water. Oh, look, there's a Pyukumuku. No, I'm very willing to bring and use it.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of Eileen, she is our next. Despite losing to you, I really like the team. The Mega Scizor, the Clef, and the Superior. It's a dope team.
Honestly, I think it's an S tier team, to be honest. I mean, if you watch my battle with her, I had to make a lot of very aggressive predicts.
It was less.
I had to be so aggressive.
I want to see. Week
I didn't
2.
have great pieces to beat her.
I want to see week 2, so I'm gonna leave her in A tier for now. But
that's fair.
The Serp's really scary though, because this is a hidden power league, so I'm even more afraid of it. Like I should have been eyeing it up, I think, a little more than I was pre-draft.
Oh, absolutely. Serp is just such a hard one to deal with because you don't want to get glared, you don't want to get status, you don't want to give it a free sub opportunity. I've seen it. I remember watching it be used in Bolt a lot last season. It didn't make an impact in Flare last season, but Bolt last season, the coach that was running it had several weeks where it just outright won a game because it wasn't checked. And once it gets 1 or 2 leaf storms in and you can't check it anymore, it's game over.
I think
that kind of mon.
If you've been doing draft leagues long enough, we all accumulate one superior loss like that. It's bound to happen. Mine was in a Gen 6 or early Gen 7, my bad, draft league, where it was like, I know what the mon did, and then it was just like I ran the calcs and I was like, oh, it's too late. I was too slow. Okay, cool. GG. You got me. But all right, so next up we have Cameron Robb's team, the Massachusetts Monkey Masters. It's a beautiful logo.
So I think he's an S tier coach with like a B tier team.
Yeah,
that's where I kind of stand with him right now.
The team leaves a lot to be desired.
I mean, he won last season with Arctazol.
Oh, is he the Hill coach?
He's the Hill coach. So, like, if it wasn't Cameron Robb, I would have this team much lower. But because it's him, and I know he knows how to play, and he's someone that's going to make really smart decisions in match.
Yeah, they're going to
watch both of his matches. He's really good with his prediction. His team is just flawed. Like, I mean, like, what is Barraskewda doing there? Like, it should be a Greninja, honestly. He doesn't have a dark type. Greninja kind of hits that speed tier, is actually a more functional pivot piece, has toxic spikes and spikes to play with. I think Greninja serves his team better.
Yeah, but I'm still putting it in A tier. I saw a lot of those matches he had.
He has Mega Mawile as a breaker. He slaughtered week 1 with Como. Like, it's just not a coach you want to give an inch of space to.
No. So I'm putting him in A just because it's Cameron Robb. Like, I don't know too many people in this league yet. I'm learning, but like his is a name I know. Alright, let's see. Next up we have the Pictoporygons. I think I got that right.
Yeah,
Um,
Picto. I don't know what they did.
this is Sprite.
They told us at one point. Yeah.
It's a sand team. It's Titar. Oh,
It's a sand team with. It has like no earthquake protection, which is a real issue.
Alice hates her team, by the way. Which team is Alice? Iris, which team is Alice? Because I only know by the nicknames I've written down. So I just need a little help there.
We're not that experienced yet. Okay, Sprite.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then they probably are gonna agree. This is a team that just, other than the sand setters, like this team hates the sand. Actually.
Yeah. So if you're not in a position to bring Leafeon, which is often the case because it's a Leafeon, like you're basically forced to make sure Mew can be your check to ground attacks, because nothing else is really coming in on ground attacks. I mean, Pidgeot technically, but Pidgeot's got no bulk at all. So all they need to do is get one predict, and Pidgeot's pretty much destroyed.
Yeah, or you can even just like a lot of times too, you can spam out the Stone Edge until the Pidgeot actually comes in. If your team's bulky enough to get away with it.
Yep.
But you know, if Sprite sees issues there too, we probably don't need to get too much into it.
No, I think they know where their issues lie, and obviously that's been the issue for both of their losses. I think in part is that they just didn't have a good way to answer ground, and so that stacks up. But you know, they made finals last season, so like I don't doubt their ability to rebound and recover and make corrections. It's just when the weakness is obvious, it can be something that just gets thrown at you week after week after week. I remember one coach went in, PDL one season was just getting smacked with Earthquake because their only protection was a Skarmory that was just getting smacked down week after week.
Yeah. Well, that and the Rotom Heat.
Yes.
It was a Rotom Heat too, and neither appreciated smackdown with the Earthquake.
So there was just no answers to that. So when you know that's a problem you're contesting, obviously it can be a concern. So I'll see what she does to make the adjustments, but she knows where it's at.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Tides of the Sunset Solrox. I like some of the ideas here. Like, it has the Mega Lopunny, but then picked up the Skarmory too. It's just like, this is one of the best checks to this Mon, so I'm just gonna get it out of the pool. But the struggling with an 0-2 record. It's just
and it doesn't seem like he's overly invested in the season, which is my real concern right now.
Gotcha.
It doesn't seem like he's
all the pieces
really amped up to bring it back. Yeah, like I think the team is here and the team can make playoffs. I think one of the huge issue I have with the team is that the offensive pieces don't like fighting. So you're regularly forced to bring in Sylveon to check fighting, but Sylveon doesn't pivot very well. So you have a hard time building momentum up against certain team matchups, because if you can't offensively check certain types, so if you can't offensively switch into fighting, then they can keep pivoting around and forcing you to respond. And so I think that's kind of where this team is at right now, where they have a lot of good defensive pieces. Like Mudsdale can be good at defense, Skarmory's great at defense, Sylveon's great at defense, but when they come in to check something, they don't get momentum to get back out and get the offensive piece in. So
like this is probably a team where like if you could switch out the Skarm for Corv, you'd just be like so immensely happy.
Yeah, that'd be I mean, you kind of want those hazards, but like it's not the end of the world.
You can get hazards elsewhere in a NetDex league.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that. Last, certainly not least, we have the Wisconsin Wishcast. This is Sick Bid's team. This is the Pult Metacham. Pult Metacham.
Yeah, it shows. It's in every league. I don't know why, but it's in every league.
Despite being 0-2, this is a pretty scary team. They're gonna end up in B tier for me as well. So you can just take a look here. It's got as well as though. So that's your only dark type. So is anything here?
That's what I don't like.
I can't tell which Stunfisk is that. Is that normal form or
that's
Gale?
that's OG. That's OG. That's OG Stunfisk.
So like
electric ground.
What? So Psychic Spam's a little scary. I mean, you've got the Heatran and
You're
Blissey,
overly reliant on Heatran. Yeah.
but Blissey's punished with Psyshock. Heatran,
Yep.
Focus Blast, but that's if you get to predict. That 70%'s a little
You don't
scary.
even need to.
If
Just
it's do or die.
Oh
yeah, HP ground. We're
ground.
in an HP league.
Yeah,
so,
that's all you need. Yeah. So that's the issue this team has. I wasn't able to abuse, because I played him this most recent week. I wasn't able to abuse that kind of pull I saw in his team, but some of his offensive pieces, like Rillaboom, have certain matchups they really struggle to get in. Mega Medicham is obviously the scary piece. I don't know why he didn't bring it again in my match.
Yeah, that was
I think his season's going to live or... Yeah. I think his season lives or dies on whether he utilizes the Mega Medicham well. He's won division before. I can't remember if it was Bolt or Flare. So he has experience with being successful. He has bounced back from 0-2. I think this is just a really competitive division, and he's going to need to make that Medicham work, which can. I mean, Gliscor pivots, Blissey pivots, Dracopult pivots, Rillaboom pivots, Vaporeon pivots. So he gets lots of windows to get that Mega Medicham in, and it was a big part of his near win in week 1 was the Mega Medicham being productive, because Dracopult's not always going to be effective and is always going to be very specifically checked by 1 or 2 mons. Mega Medicham is much harder to check.
Yeah. Well, that kind of leaves us with no more teams to tier. Do you have anything here you'd like to change? How you feeling about this?
No, I think this is where it's at. Obviously, whoever wins between me and Here We Stand this week, I think, can claim being the best team in the league at the moment.
Yeah. That's absolutely true.
I think Cameron Robb is going to continue to rise this season just because he's arguably the best player and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's really, really strong in his predict game. And so he just creates winning scenarios a lot. And when you have something like Mega Mawile, every time you create a winning scenario for that, you just get kills. So I expect he will continue to do well. Although I think his flaws will get exposed a few times too many.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think the 6 we have on top of the 6 I expect to make playoffs as it is right now.
All right. That's probably true. I'd agree with that. Yeah. Okay, so that's all that we have today. This next week I'm going to work on a little mini doc to kind of compress some of the information in the other docs to just make it a little bit easier. Mainly just Bolt. The colors with my stream don't seem to mesh very well. It looks fine, it just doesn't show up on the stream. But that's all that I have. Yes, I think Sprite can. No one's out of it yet. But you make a few changes to the team and things can turn around. But that's all that I have. Thanks to everyone for tuning in and hanging out. Really appreciate it. I'm Dr. Geo. With me is
P McGee.
And we will catch you guys next week. Peace.